Gamer boy falls in love with cute girl, Kdrama style recap story. Jisoo had always believed that real life was too unpredictable, too messy, too painful. That's why he chose the world behind the screen: clean battles, clear missions, guaranteed resets. But everything changed the night he heard her voice. Soft, warm, curious. A voice that hit him harder than any boss fight ever had. He just didn't know the girl would become the one thing he never knew he needed, and the only thing he was terrified to lose. Jisoo was one of Seoul's top-ranked competitive gamers, known online as Shadow Soul, feared for his fast reflexes and cold composure. In the real world, though, he was quiet, awkward, and invisible. People walked past him without even remembering his face. Teachers said he had potential. His classmates said nothing at all. So Jisoo lived in his room, where the neon glow of his monitor felt more like home than the world outside. He played to escape, not to win. But on one rainy evening, after losing a tournament he was expected to dominate, he logged into a random team match just to forget the disappointment. His teammates were loud and chaotic, except one. Her username was Peach Blossom. She didn't shout. She didn't brag. She didn't blame him when he made a mistake. Instead, she laughed softly. A laugh like spring sunlight, gentle, unexpected, warm. For the first time in years, Jisoo felt something shift inside him. Over the next few days, they kept meeting in matches. At first by accident, then by choice, and soon, by habit. She talked about school, about how she was terrible at math but great at baking. She teased him for being too serious. She told him he played like he carried the weight of the world. Jisoo didn't tell her that he did. He learned that her real name was Hannah, a college art student who loved creating bright things because her life had too many dark days. Her father was sick. Her part-time jobs barely kept them afloat. But she smiled anyway. Jisoo found himself staring at the chat screen long after she logged out. He wasn't supposed to fall for someone he hadn't even met. But he did. Deeply. One evening, Hannah said she was entering an indie game design contest with a group of friends, but she needed a strategist. Someone who understood gameplay and narrative flow like a professional. Shadow Soul, would you help me? Jisoo froze. No one asked him for help. No one needed him. But Hannah did. So he said yes. They began late-night calls, her speaking excitedly, sketching characters on her tablet, him quietly offering ideas, adjusting mechanics, improving storyline. Their personalities couldn't be more different. She was sunshine, he was shadows, but somehow, they fit. As the contest deadline approached, Hannah invited him to meet the whole team in person at a small cafe. Jisoo panicked. In real life, he wasn't Shadow Soul. He was just Jisoo, awkward, shy, forgettable. Hannah sensed it immediately. It's okay, she said softly over the mic. You can come when you're ready. But her voice carried something else. Disappointment. And somehow, that hurt more than fear. That night, Jisoo stared at his reflection, messy hair, tired eyes, worn-out hoodie, and asked himself what he was running from. Why could he face thousands of players online but not one girl who made his world brighter? So the next morning, with trembling hands and a heart beating like a drum, he walked into the cafe. Hannah was there. And she was even prettier than her voice, soft curls, gentle eyes, the kind of smile that made him forget how to breathe. Jisoo, she asked, hope lighting her face. He nodded. Her smile widened. You came. Those two words melted every fear he had. Working on the project in person felt different. Better. Hannah would lean close to see his notes, and every time she laughed, his chest tightened. Her friends welcomed him warmly, especially after seeing how much Hannah relied on him. They finished the project as a team, laughing, arguing, creating something beautiful together. When the contest night finally arrived, the results were announced. Their team won second place. Not first. Not perfect. But Hannah jumped up, hugged her friends, and then turned to Jisoo. We did it. You and me. Jisoo felt something blossom in his chest. A mixture of pride, relief, and a strange warmth he had never known. But happiness doesn't last in dramas. A week later, Hannah stopped joining games. She didn't reply to messages. She didn't pick up calls. Jisoo panicked. Not because she wasn't online, but because she had become the only part of his life that felt real. When he finally visited her home, her mother answered the door with red eyes. Hannah's father had collapsed the night before. She was at the hospital, exhausted and hurting. Jisoo rushed there immediately. He found Hannah sitting alone in a hallway, hugging her knees, tears streaming down her face. Not the bright, brave girl he knew, but someone drowning under pressure she'd been hiding. Without thinking, Jisoo sat beside her. She looked up, surprised. "Jisoo, why are you here?" "Because you're not alone," he said quietly. "Not anymore." Hannah broke down and leaned into him, her voice shaking as she cried. It was the first time he held someone. The first time someone cried on his shoulder. The first time his walls finally fell. Her father recovered slowly, and Jisoo stayed by her side through every visit, every worry, every exhaustion. He walked her home after long nights, bought her warm drinks, made her laugh when she was on the verge of breaking. Hannah started joining games again, but this time, she didn't log in alone. Jisoo was always there, waiting. One night after a match, she looked at him with a shy smile. "You know, you're different when you're with me." "How?" he whispered. "You look like you've finally stepped out of the game, and into the world." She took his hand. "And I'm glad you chose to step into mine." Jisoo felt his heart stop, then race faster than any battle he had ever fought. "Hannah, I like you. Probably more than I should." She laughed softly, the same warm laugh he fell for from day one. "Then like me properly." And she kissed him, gentle, soft, real. A moment no game could ever recreate. Years later, when people asked Jisoo how a shy, quiet gamer ended up with such a bright, beautiful girl, he would smile and say, "She found me in a game. But she saved me in real life." Inspiring message. Sometimes the person who changes your life doesn't arrive dramatically. Sometimes they enter quietly, like a soft voice in your headphones. Gentle enough to hear, kind enough to stay, and strong enough to pull you back into the real world. Love doesn't always find the bravest. Sometimes, it finds the lonely. And teaches them courage.